You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/Truth on Tap show. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truth-on-tap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give. My right, my heart, it's mine to share. My son's my
Truth on Tap.
right to use. Just the way to use. Chop it up and leave somebody. Chop it up and leave somebody.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yeah, it's special tonight. Coming straight from the heart, using the vehicle called music. Sometimes that's the only way to bring it across. You know what I mean? Yeah, this feels right. This sounds good to me. Thank you, Soda. Soda, 18 pieces, breaking it down for us, Barney style, while I talk during their performance. Is it life? Is it death? What is it we're feeling here? Let's think about it for a minute. Feels more like life to me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's life. Yeah. Well, Will Shatner could do it, so can I. And I'm not even high. That wasn't intended to rhyme, just happened to work out. What do you think it is, this whole thing we're doing? You get born, you get professional, you earn your income, get your toys, and then you enter some sort of fucking prepared retirement, and you think you're going to take care of your kids and grandkids, and then when you really think about it, if you just project your mind into the future, what do you come up with? What was the point of it all? If your ancestors hadn't done it, you wouldn't be here. But would it matter? That's what I have a problem with. We continue on in spite of what tries to kill us. But what's going to kill us is still going to kill us. What a beautiful thing that is. Right now, you are alive. There's some kind of force at work. I don't know what it is. There's something that makes it feel good to be alive. Wouldn't you agree? Have you ever wondered if we're really dead and dreaming about life? Not in the biological sense, strictly in a stream of consciousness, sea of expanded mind capacity. You're feeling, you're thinking, but you're not ticking. Time is an element unneeded. Forever is the same as yesterday and tomorrow. It's all just happening at once. You know, I considered doing a poetry reading at one time, and I thought maybe it would be something like this. I mean, they don't have music in the background, but it gives it some flavor, don't you think? I mean, I could write rhymes and rap. I sure as hell can't sing. I mean, I could do opera. I do that in the shower, but there are things I do in the shower I would never do on the air, including opera. Yeah, this is weird. I know. I'm asking you to feel it with me. Don't think about it. Just feel it. I can smell life in this music. I can hear it coming out of my own voice as I speak with the music. It's a pleasant feeling. I like it. It's like getting an injection of electricity. Yeah, why not? Truth on Tap is the show. Kevin Kierstead is the host. And we're coming to the end of this tune. Yeah. Different kind of a thing, you know. I was listening to Truth Porn Militia earlier, and he was talking while some music played in the background. I said, I can do that. I would like to do that. And see what it sounds like. And, you know, I can't tell you what it's going to sound like to me as my own worst critic. Yet, I think there's an artistic element to that. I mean, I actually got the idea long before I had a radio show. When I heard, I think it was on a standard terrestrial radio station, Will Shatner was talking. And I think there was some music in the background. But he may have just been talking in a kind of a poetic way, just saying shit. And some of it was funny and some wasn't. And I thought, that's got an element of art to it. I mean, what does art do? When you're in a gallery, you look at a picture, it could be one of the most fucked up Picasso-looking retarded pictures of the day, but you get a feeling. And that feeling, in my experience, is generally unique with each good piece of artwork. It's unique. It's new. Maybe it captures a little bit of sorrow, adding with it a little bit of hope, and it's day and night all in one, and you're thinking, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't think I'd feel that, you know. And maybe that's what this is. I love the attraction of the mysterious feeling you can get from various sensory inputs. There's something to that that's beautiful. I mean, without death, life wouldn't be beautiful at all to me. There has to be an ending. It has to be finite. If it's not finite, there's nothing special here, folks. Nothing at all special. There's nothing special about your 16th birthday if you're going to live to 16 million years old. You know, there has to be a beginning and an end for us to appreciate the middle. And we don't really. I think when we're younger, we think we're going to live forever, and when we're older, we think every day is special. But in the middle, where I am now, you're just in a state of flux mentally. You're wondering what it's all about. What is the meaning? And I think that's what brought on this need for me to talk during that song. I wanted to add something I couldn't put in with my voice. And that's one of those Creative Commons songs I grabbed off CC Mixter, but I thought it was nice. I liked it. I've used it for something before. I don't remember what. Independence Night Fuggaround. As most of you know, it is this day that we celebrate our independence from England. The Revolutionary War was a war that we were unlikely to win. We were fighting redcoats. You don't think about it today, and the history books don't adequately describe it, but the redcoats were kind of like Navy SEALs are seen today. They were pretty kick-ass, very organized, highly disciplined. They could fight in their sleep because of all the training they went through. And we had some dudes. That's what we had, some dudes, some gangstas that got together. And we formed a military. You don't just form a military, but we did. And I think the only reason we won is because we eventually outnumbered them, and because you cannot beat a people who decides that they're going to be a free people. You can beat them in the short term, But it's a matter of time before your loss. That's a guarantee. Once a people has decided we're just not going to have that boss anymore, they're not. You can whip them into shape for 2-3 years straight, shooting everybody that resists, but eventually it's just going to swell up again, and you're going to lose. It takes a constant pressure from an opposing force to keep people in control, and you just can't keep that up. The numbers won't allow for it. Human nature is such that, as I've said before on this show many times, I think people have an inherent need at our most basic levels. Now, this is not once you get into academia, once you get into some deep philosophical thought, you get a little older, you really start thinking, you start questioning your religion and your beliefs. We generally, before all of that, have not a desire. A desire is too strong of a word. I'll say we have a hole in which we're waiting for a key of leadership to be inserted and turned because we want to follow. There is a natural pecking order that arrives. I'll never forget when I was in college, and my academic advisor was a psychology chair, Dr. Lee Dories over at CNU, for any people that might have been a CNU student. And we went to the Norfolk Zoo, and it was that day that we were focusing mostly on evolutionary psychology, my favorite branch. And we watched the pecking orders of all of those different creatures from all the different species and classes. And we thought, well, I thought, this is nothing different than what I see with humans. We've got quite a few sweeter elements to put on this behavior I'm seeing in the zoo. And we call it all kinds of different things. And we've got this arsenal of categories that we like to put things into, where we're going to call you a religious leader or a political leader or a military leader, but in general, what you are is an item inside of an environment that others are gathering round. So here's the problem I have with it. What happens when the leaders are wrong? What happens when the leaders go corrupt? You don't have a fallback. Yeah, in a pecking order, I guess you'd have a second in command, but who knows when to go to the second in command when the first in command has failed? You don't know. We still don't know. So I say, don't be so quick to follow a leader. I say, be your own leader. You can still conglomerate. You don't have to be solo. But don't be so apt to let somebody come and grab you by the bridle and lead you where they want you to go. Why is it so hard as a creature on this earth to imagine yourself as an independent being with independent thought on this Independence Day? It's a perfect analogy. Perfect analogy of what we did. We said we're not following that leader anymore. We're going to govern ourselves. I'm not going to give a history lesson today because tonight is Independence Day Night Fuggaround. You're listening to it live. Truth on Tap, the show. Kevin Kierstead, the host. Let's see what we're going to do. Now, I don't know if I'm going to talk about news because news, it doesn't really do much for me right now. I have to be in the mood for it. But we are going to pull it up just for some ideas here. News, bring me the news. I know there's an ongoing terrorist threat. Surprise. I mean, sometimes they materialize, sometimes they don't. They always exist. You know, I have a hard time with the word terrorism. I didn't used to. After 9/11, I was like, kill all those motherfuckers. Well, yeah, I mean, and I still hate what they did. I still hate it. And the fact that they attack civilians just completely, I lose all respect for their political point once they attack civilians on purpose and not just through collateral damage. But I got to thinking, a thought that really creeped me out. And the way that the kids in the Middle East would look to Osama bin Laden as some kind of hero made me nauseous. And then I realized that my all-time hero in history, William Wallace, was really not much different. He really wasn't that much different. He had a set of beliefs. He believed that his people had been imposed upon and raped and beaten and tortured and murdered and abused, and that the king was bossing them around and telling them what they were going to do with their lands. And he finally said, I've had enough, and I'm going to organize a small force against you. And the force is going to grow and become a bigger force. And as you can see, this is creepy to me. Because to me, Osama bin Laden is a douchebag, and William Wallace is a hero. Yet the blueprint that they both used was equal. It was the same blueprint. And the followers that they had were equally as loyal. So am I deciding in my mind that America can do no wrong, and that it must have been just the mind of one extremist who got a bunch of other extremists to follow him that caused this whole terrorist uprising? Or should I be more fair and say, well, to be honest, William Wallace was a terrorist too? That's what the king called him. That's what Longshanks called him. He was a terrorist, you know. And at that time, and I think even now, what we define as a terrorist is anybody who doesn't show up on a normal battlefield with an army, but still wants to fight. I have to draw a line between killing military versus civilian. But in what war have we not killed civilians? Can you think of one? I don't think I can think of one. And sometimes that was intentional. I mean, in Vietnam, eventually you get tired of wondering who's coming up with a hand grenade and who's not, and you're shooting everybody. That happened to guys, didn't it? World War II, I mean, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Need I say more? They killed civilians when they attacked Pearl Harbor, the Japanese. The Germans killed civilians all the way across Europe. And the Russians killed civilians coming back across Europe to get their payback, along with the rapes. Try to imagine a war situation where innocents aren't killed and targeted. So, in no way can I sit here and say that what Al-Qaeda did is acceptable. But I think I have to, if I'm going to be honest, adjust my thinking. And I have to say that what William Wallace did and the way his followers carried it out also wasn't acceptable. But the reason that it happened between the two was quite different. William Wallace tried to gather the clans of Scotland and get them to join with the nobles and the king, the rightful king at that time. There was no king of Scotland when they had the Battle of Stirling. And there wasn't a king yet when they had the Battle of Falkirk. The first battle that they had their king, which was Robert the 17th Earl of Bruce, was in 1305, and William Wallace's first initial attacks and uprising was around 1296, I think, or 1315, 1305 or 1315, I can't remember. I think Wallace was killed in 1305, so it was like 1314. So it was like 9 years after his death where Robert the Bruce was finally king, and they attacked and won their independence. So independence, is that what Osama bin Laden and his group were after? Believing that they were just puppets of a powerful American regime? I don't know. Let me ask you this. I want you to imagine for a moment that Osama bin Laden was a pure person who just believed in his religion and truly believed that America was out to harm his people. What could he have done to make the case to you, the average American, where you would have felt some sympathy for his cause? What could he have done? I'm not sure, knowing what I know about the average American right now, that he could have done anything. What do? Start a website? Who's reading that? Who's going to, you have to do something big, don't you, to get the attention to your cause. And the problem, again, is, first of all, targeting civilians. It's just not something you want to do to America. I don't know about other countries, how they react to that, but we kind of flip the fuck out when you attack our civilians. And there is a bitter penalty that we will impose upon you for many years to follow that. You have to wonder if Japan doesn't hold a lot of hostility underneath. Because, yeah, they killed some civilians and they caught us off guard at Pearl Harbor. But compared to what we did at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a good 100,000 people total, civilians, I mean, that's a lot of people. 9/11 was 3,000 people. The whole war since then has been 5,000-6,000 service guys, so we're still under 10,000. The Japanese lost 100,000 in 2 bombings. 2 single bombs. Civilians, innocent civilians going about their daily life. And the reason we did it is because we knew if we went ashore, everybody who could hold a gun would be firing one. And we'd be the same way if someone were coming ashore on our land. So you have to wonder, when you flip the script a little bit, how much we are all alike. I think the biggest problem with Middle Eastern terrorists is how easy it is to take an already very rigid religion and make it extreme. I mean, you want to talk about pecking order there? You don't believe in their invisible guy? You say something about their prophet? You're on a death list. If I say something on this show right now that's negative about the Prophet Muhammad, I would be getting death threats within a couple of days and probably have some attempts within a couple of months. That's how serious they take it. So that's a little bit alarming to me, that people aren't willing to question their religion. And when you ask them, why do you believe? Why do you believe? They really can't answer, but I'll answer for them. It's because that's what they were told to believe. Is that a good reason to believe something? Because the people that held the earth before you came into adulthood told you that's what you're supposed to believe? I don't know why. It gets people. There's a book called The Psychology of Religion. There's a few books about that, but one of the ones I read was very interesting, and it basically operates on a total fear principle. That is, if you do anything outside of this guide of religion, you're going to suffer immensely. And with the Muslims, there's the additional benefit of, if you do the right thing, even if you die early, you're given great rewards. Not just heaven, but great rewards. Rewards that are worth dying for. Compared to this terrible life that your average Middle Easterner has, oh my God, everything you don't have, you can get if you'll be a martyr. We got a long way to go as human beings with tolerance. That's all I have to say about that. I don't really have anything else I can add to that. Let's take a listen here. Some people in chat there. I'll check there in just a second. And I just want to make sure that we're coming through, because you have to do that sometimes. There we go. There we go. My own self talking back to me. I don't like to talk, so I'm glad you... Kim's in chat. What's up, Kim? Kim, Apocalypse. Not even high. It's kind of an act he does. What do you mean it's kind of an act? 4th of July. Okay, what's up? So Kim and Apocalypse are in chat. I'm surprised more of you people aren't, you motherfuckers. I'm going to have to, for every minute that goes by that at least one more person isn't in chat, I'm going to allow another polar bear to die. And you brought this on yourselves. So don't blame anyone. Don't blame me. But there goes another one. There goes another polar bear. He had an ice cap and everything, and he's like, oh, nobody went in chat. And he fell out on the ice. And there's another one lining up right now. So you better just start showing up there, because, if all the polar bears die, then we won't have anything left to make soda commercials with. And wouldn't that be just a shame? I don't know why I wanted to do a show tonight. I was a little bit inspired, Apocalypse. Funny you're in chat, because earlier with the truth porn thing, when I heard him speaking over music, it triggered something in me. I had been wanting to do that for a long time. I'd actually done it in a couple of commercials. I may even play one later about my space colonization thing. And it's attractive to me. What a hell of a way to do it. Because here you are on a talk show, doing talk radio, and you want to add some flavor to your steak. I mean, the music is the A1 sauce. It's what makes it magical. It's the Montreal seasoning. It's what's going to keep you coming back. I like that. I like that he did that. It reminded me how cool. Yes, I can see you, Kim. I mean, can I see you? See you? No, but I can see you typing. Yeah, let me make sure. Yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for my space colonization commercial, and I'm not going to play it right now, but it's actually a halfway decent message. I tried to put a little bit of emotion into it, and but I don't see it right now, and I'm not going to sit here and fumble through everything looking for it. Yeah, I think I took that out, but I am actually going to look for it, but not right this second. Music for Me. Oh, yeah, Slumlord. Ooh. Let me see what this is real quick. Pre-listen. Lotag Blanco. Jesus. Wow. Oh, I think I like this shit now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to drag that over. So y'all motherfuckers aren't ready. Here it goes. You ready? I'm about to hit it. Bam! Here it goes. You ain't ready for this. I advise you put your seatbelt on. Oh my God. Can you feel it? It's making me shudder. Like a shudder in the wind. Shudder. And you know this, man. I got my head going. Can y'all feel that jam? Oh, yeah. Tanka, tanka, tanka. Wonk, wonk. Pomp, panka, pomp. That's in Filipino. Tagalog. Got my platform shoes, big ass sunglasses, pink polyester pants, and I got an afro. Oh, you like that. You like this, man. Oh, it's making me move in a funny way. My stomach and back hurt now, and that's okay. Yeah, y'all feel this? You moving? APOC, I know he's dancing. Yeah, he's dancing like a truck caught in a haboob. I can sense it. Kim, you got the head moving? You got the chin going? Yeah, I would. I do. Yeah, I feel like I got feathers in my hat right now, bobbing around. It's special. It's a special kind of Independence Day fuck around show. It's got a groove to it. Y'all never saw this shit coming, did you? Let's just feel it. Let's just feel this out. Slowing it down on a Friday night. Yeah. How about some Pee Wee Herman?
Pee Wee Herman? More like urine piss his woman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it now. Yeah.
You are on the internet.
Oh, this is out of control. I can't stop it. No one can stop it. Welcome to Friday, Independence Day. Yeah, I think y'all felt that. I think there are certain things that music can do that a person talking cannot do. Cannot do. Kim is rapping to the stuff. I don't have another song quite that good right now, or I'd throw something else on and we could just keep talking during the music. I mean, although I do have some good tunes in here. Most of these are not instrumentals. I do have a few, though. I do have a few. Let me pre-listen to a couple of these, and I'll see if it sounds like something you might enjoy. Oh, that one sounds rather annoying. I don't think so. Forget about it. How about this one? This is Spinmeister. No, I've already used that one in my Kev Humanity song. Air tone disorder. No, this is for somebody on acid. This is not going to work for tonight. Yeah, that's not going to work for tonight. But I am going to find, before we leave this show tonight, my Kev Humanity thing about space colonization. Because I think there's an important message in there. What it is, I couldn't put in just a few words. That's why it took me almost 4 minutes to a song to put it in there. But I'm looking for it now. We're going to find it for sure. And it's going in. It's going in eventually. It's going in. There's no way I'm not going to have it in there. There it is. Kev knows. Kev knew he was going to find it. Kev's talking about himself in the third person. That's all right. Yeah. You know, I could use a little break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Kev's Humanity in there. And yeah, Spinmeister is the what I would call my co-artist in this, and he's going to help me. He's going to help me to help you get ready to colonize space. You want humans to live on? I got a way to do it. I got a way to do it. Let's see what you guys have going on in chat, and then I'll play this little SETI. Yeah, not bad for Caucasian. All right, well, check this out, and I want to know if you guys agree with this. This is how I feel about making us continue on. And humans that will hear this, and non-humans that might hear this, present, past, or future, depending on what technology really does turn out to be capable of, I feel compelled to share a heart-gripping view with you from one common man. There is something inside me that roots for humans. I see the bad with the good. I know our capacity for evil and greatness. Deep down, something that I cannot describe to you, something that is just as much a nearly tangible object as it is a feeling. This thing tells me we must protect and promote the human race, necessarily accompanied with humanity, with compassion for others. I'm looking at my computer's calendar, and it is November 17th, 2013. What that means is as debatable as anything else, but what it signifies, I'm certain, is that we are near. We are close to the time when humans will leave this planet. It won't be long. Humans will have settled the moon and Mars, and possibly even other bodies in the solar system. It won't be long after that, maybe within the next 400 years, that we are outside of our own solar system settling new moons and planets. If we can stay alive long enough to make this happen, we can ensure the survival of our own species. Some may ask, is it worth it? What can we offer? Aren't we just a virus to the universe if we spread out and consume and then vacate, spread out and consume again? The answer to that is no. What we are is a learning, growing, a largely flawed creature that has inherent inside of him the ability to show compassion and humility, and when you combine that with the need to grow more intelligent and our ability to be brave even in the face of the worst of odds, we become a necessary and truly unstoppable force. But only if we can last long enough. Some number of us may not care much about what humans do after they are gone, but I think most of us do. How we work out political and religious tolerance and how we reconcile value systems and expectations are just fine details that can be worked out using that flexible, liquidy thing that we call time. What will it take to ensure the survival of our species then? It's really simple. You are a biological creature. In truth, you are simply an animal with thumbs, a decent communication system, and the ability to reason. Inherent inside of your brain is the natural, forceful desire to produce offspring and, in sort of a selfish way, to promote your genes. And it could be argued that when people like me talk about protecting and promoting our entire species, that I'm drawing off of that same area of the brain. While that may be a valid argument, I'm inviting you to come on board with a simple cause, a simple premise, that we should give ourselves a chance to spread out and do good and enjoy goodness before we destroy ourselves here on Earth. We only need a few hundred years of real peace to make that happen. The question is, can you do it? Will you? Will you write to your leaders or elected officials and tell them that we need time to get some people off of this planet, and that it is critical that this time is spent in preparation and launching into this peaceful, cooperative time? Will you spread the word to your own family and friends to suggest that if we can just hold on for a few hundred more years without having nuclear wars or forcing our own climate to rebel upon us or being destroyed by a meteorite because we failed to take them seriously and will not adequately fund identification and preventative measures? If you hate other humans that do not believe or think as you, would you simply write down your grievances and hand them down the generations, giving your own offspring and theirs permission to resume whatever angry cause you have taken up, asking only that they wait until humans are safely spread out a bit in the universe first? Will you pressure your leaders to help control disease so that we have time to make this happen? And if you could do that at this time of travel and settlement in the universe, isn't it also possible that we might for the first time see what a beautiful thing human tolerance, teamwork, and peace can provide? A thing we've not only never really seen before, but a thing which, if felt by those who are preparing to leave, would then be carried out into new worlds? Isn't it possible that as soon as we begin this cooperative thinking and work toward giving our species a chance to have better odds of survival long term, that we might also in an instant notice that we have done just one thing to that end, but many things to that end? What happiness might you feel if when you lay down your stereotypes and judgments just long enough for us to get off of this planet and get out and beyond the rest of the solar system, you find that your mind and heart become content for the first time that you can be sure of, ever? All it suggests is postponing fights over ideology and coming together as one to complete just this one goal, just this one dream, to allow humankind to ensure that no matter what ends up happening later on this planet, we will have sent our family outward and upward, not only to go on if something happens on Earth, but to go on with a mind and heart set not just on exploring and making better for ourselves, but on being responsible and respected pioneers in our part of the universe. Even if it turns out that there aren't other life forms and that we're only respecting ourselves, uniting around a common goal like this, my friends, is a worthy effort, even if only for the end product of protecting our species in a way no known species has ever before, or any life on this planet has ever been able to even conceive of. But can you imagine how many other great things could rise up out of a venture like this? A few hundred years of peace and cooperation before we give ourselves permission to start destroying one another again? Does it just sound novel, or would you do something to support a cause such as this? Will you do it? Will you write a friend, email your government authorities, support your country's science programs? Will you talk about this at schools, at work, at parties, on your social networks? A few hundred years of cooperation and peace before we resort back to allowing ourselves to hack and chop away at each other's futures and happiness. If you don't do anything, this never happens. It costs nothing but lots of your thinking and some of your time. Do you care enough about humankind to want to ensure our survival? If you do, then spread this message far and wide, and do not rest until you see the peace, the cooperation, the hard scientific work happening to get some of us off of this earth to dramatically increase our chance of survival in the long run. This is for you. It is for your family. People are living longer and longer. Your very grandchildren could be the first pioneers out of our solar system. How about giving them a chance? Do something. Spread the idea. Practice the idea. Live the idea. And we live forever.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, meet your adrenaline, settle in, it's medicine. Doper than it's ever been, provoking you to let us in. Vocals are effortless, hoping you never miss when approaching a specialist. It's Togo, your man Focho, your man So-So. You're playing Rodo, break bread at 400. The reason, please, MCs, no need to breathe, just flee. You see, we be the best to bless the stage on a higher degree. There's none flyer the weak, a fire the steep, a fire we retire the beat. Desire, amplify the crease, try and compete, design with the heat. You find my fleets dying and heat. You know we all get the fat itis. My old Midas touch reaches, reach your whole lighters up and heats. My speech a coal miner to a diamond beach. We been working, searching for that perfect piece. Hey yo, my advice is to you, think twice. Jazz addicts is the crew. We get nice, precise with the rhyme on the cut. The illest lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. Now that you're following, it's time for the hollering. So scream for the oxygen bright like a halogen night light. We got them in sight, right? We're rocking them right. Where we want them, stay tight without a problem. Excite right, don't overheat, just jump when you wanna. Fist pump when you wanna. Make smoke, this is on. We gonna keep it hot in here, let's persevere. No drama, just good karma first. Yeah, I'll put you in the sky. A peace sign for a beast rhyme. No decline, blocking stunners, then release shine. We carefree at the moment and we own it. Enjoy the aerial view through your stereo component. We known for blasting percussion and rapid production and rapping at function, slapping suckers, amassing the love is so massive. These brothers on task is the toughest. Bump this, trust us when we say my advice is to you. Think twice. Jazz addicts is the crew. We get nice, precise with a rhyme on the cut. The illest lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I get more props. I get more props. Jazz addicts is the crew. We get nice, precise with the rhyme on the cut. The illest lemonade was a popular drink and it's still
to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Silent night, holy night. Silent night, holy night. Holy night. Holy night.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yes, you are listening to Truth on Tap, your host, Kizaiko Laikoleke. And it's Fuggaround on a Friday, but we're not going to fug around much longer here. What a weird show. This may be the strangest show I've ever done. I mean, I set out somewhat inspired. You know, once in a while I'll listen to another show, and I'll get an idea. It'll spark something in me, usually something I already had, a latent idea, if you will. Rarely do I hear anything brand new on radio that I go, oh my God, I got to try that. But like I said earlier, I was listening to Apocalypse invited me to Truth Porn Militia show, and I heard him talking over music. And, you know, I sat down tonight. I never do notes or scripts for my show, and I started writing out potential lyrics for what I was going to say over this song, and I kept deleting them, and I thought, look, Kevin, figure out what you're going to do. You're either going to write lyrics and essentially talk a song, or just go freestyle. And then I thought, let's just go freestyle. It doesn't have to be lyrical. It doesn't have to be stanzas. It can just be talking with silence, intermittently injected. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I have pretty good taste, Kim, and the music there. She said she was jamming to them tunes, all eclectic feeling, but funky. Eclectic and funky. That's quite a combination, and I like to believe that I'm just the kind of guy that can get you in between eclectic and funky with my choice of music. But, you know, these songs, we are somewhat limited because I don't have licensing rights, so I have to play either ones I have permission for, you know, Creative Commons stuff, which there's plenty out there. They're really, for an average talk show that you're not going to have much music in, I'm not supposed to have more than 30 seconds of music in these shows anyway. That's iHeart's rule. And I break that rule all the time. I broke that rule when I applied for an iHeart show. And I was surprised I got accepted. At least one of my shows did. My hockey show didn't. And the reason? You have music longer than 30 seconds. Okay, but you took my other show. Well, I'm not going to complain. Yeah, somebody will decide they don't like me, and they'll come in and they'll complain. They'll say, listen, this is a talk show. This guy has music longer than 30 seconds. I want you to remove his show. I'll bet you that's what will happen. Yeah, that's all right if that happens. That's all right if that happens. Yeah, so here's what we're looking at tonight. I am getting ready to go ghost hunting. Yeah, I am. I haven't been in a while. And my stomach is still not right, obviously. The last 15 minutes I've been the king of my domain. And from that ghost hunt, we may broadcast a show. Whenever I try to broadcast a show from a spot we call Old Cow Hole, it fails. It could be supernatural, it could be simple signal loss. But when we do it for any other place, it comes through. So we may just do a show from the mobile, from my highly reliable and advanced iPhone 4S, and have a live paranormal show there. And keep in mind, whenever we do paranormal shows, if you ever hear whispering, we don't allow ourselves to whisper back there in Old House Wood. So if you hear whispering, there's a decent chance you're hearing a live EVP that the electronic equipment was sensitive enough to pick up and amplify to bring to you, whereas we couldn't hear it with our own ears. And EVPs are real. I don't know what they are. I just know that they're real. They're not scams, because it's happened to us too many times simply recording audio on average electronic devices. And some of them have been rather elaborate. So, well, I don't know what you mean about about last night, Kim. What was wrong last night? I know you went ghost hunting last night. I'd like to hear what you did or didn't see and why. And I'll wait for that while I tell people this. The next show we'll do after the ghost hunting show, if we even do one, is probably going to be Monday night or Tuesday night. Because I like to recharge and take a break after my shows because I like to pour a lot of energy into them. I almost feel like I was given permission by the Truth Porn Malicious Network there to just relax. I mean, at one point in his show, he's talking, and he's got the music playing, and he's got this thing where they pass it around. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't even smoke that shit. But they're passing it around. That's very relaxed, very laid back. And I've always been of the impression, or under the impression, that when you do radio, you have to just be totally fired up the whole time. And that becomes a deterrent to doing a show. If I'm not feeling the fire, I don't do a show. And maybe this is permission that I'm giving myself based on how I felt when I listened to his show, that I don't have to be pumped up all the time to do a show. Maybe I just come on and take it easy. Why not? I'll have to see how people react to that, because I know people that have listened to this show in the past have an expectation now that they're going to get concentrated energy. So if I go fucking around, slacking off, I don't know if that's going to play too well. But I'll find out. All right, well, Kim, maybe we'll find tonight what you couldn't find last night. And I'm getting ready now to start my scooter up, get my tunes playing, get dressed appropriately for this. I already got bug spray on from the fireworks earlier that I had to leave early. Thank you, stomach. Appreciate that. And, oh, here we go. Wind howling, but she showed up, and I grabbed my camera. It was dead, so I grabbed my other camera, just kept shooting and shooting. Rain started, so I got back to my van, 38 shot black. Are we talking about the storm lady? I'm sure we are. Okay. And nothing. Yeah, that's what happens. That's because we don't have good cameras. Well, your camera is a nice one when it's working, obviously. When we saw the storm lady down on the beach, and we shined a light toward her, the light was absorbed by her somehow. And wherever the light hit, she would disappear. And I began to think in terms of physics, that makes perfect sense. She simply doesn't reflect light. She's emitting a little bit of light, maybe the slightest bit. To me, I just saw her as some lady standing there. I didn't see a bunch of drama that you would expect to see with a ghost. And as the light neared her, the circular orb, the dimmer part of the outer edge of your flashlight's light, neared her, she would dim. And the brighter part got near her, she would disappear. And I thought, well, this has got to be something where energy is being eaten up, and light going into that area is also being chewed up. It's not being reflected. It's being absorbed. So I don't know. I don't know about that. Oh, you forgot to remove your lens cover. Okay. God knows I've done that. All right. Well, folks, I'm going to let you out without another painful commercial or anything of that nature, especially because we may do a show later on tonight anyhow. I still have some voice left, so it's possible. But because I have used some of it, and I did a show a couple nights ago, I may let Kim kind of handle the MC duties and do more of the talking. We'll have to think if we have a good topic back there. And we may not. You may not hear another show tonight, but it'll broadcast just like normal, and there'll be a little notification if we do one. And if we do, it'll be roughly an hour from now. So you'll know soon enough if we're going to do one. So let's just call that the end, man. And I appreciate you guys listening tonight. You guys on iHeart that are going to hear it later, thank you for your patronage. And make sure to check out the show's Facebook page, facebook.com/truthontapshow. Check it out, all about what's it all about. You know how the Beastie Boys said? I can't remember the words. But those were my homies back in the day. So, all right, so that is that. And here goes this.